Today, I had the pleasure of interviewing a legend in the calisthenics community. He's been posting YouTube videos of his feats since 2006 and then went on to start Barbarians, which is a global community of intense calisthenics athletes. Lastly, in 2013, he broke the internet when he performed the God Set, which is 50 pull-ups and 50 dips, totaling over 100 reps on the bar without letting go. The man I'm talking about is no other than Zakaveli. Enjoy. How you doing today?
No, I'm all right, man. It's raining, so it's kind of like in a lazy mode today.
Gotcha. You're in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I used to live in Manhattan. There weren't many pull-up bars there outside. Maybe Brooklyn has more gyms, like outdoor
Oh,
gym.
yeah. Yeah, definitely now.
Oh, so recently they've been building more.
Yeah, they have a lot of new parks. They did over a lot of parks too, older parks that had bars already. Manhattan has quite a few now too.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, I haven't been back in about 5 years, so maybe it's changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Is your phone, is it stuck on the car? Could it be turned over?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes the screen bigger. So I think
Yeah, yeah. That is better.
so. How is the Brooklyn scene? Is like the calisthenics there? Is it growing?
It's growing as far as competition wise. Before I would say the freestyle had a little bit more influence, but due to like the ball brawl, that's something that I helped start, and the bar club. We meet up. Originally, it started in the wintertime that we would meet up different parks and compete with each other, different teams. Now it turned into a individual thing that people we try to make it like a fight night basically, and we match the top athletes up with each other to compete, and that's going on this Saturday. So that's been helping to grow it as a sport.
Oh, it's really cool. So it's like what's the event that they're competing with?
It's different routines that we set up for them,
Okay.
and who basically could finish it first is the winner.
So it's like all it's like what 30 pull-ups, something dips, like how,
Yeah, something like that. Most of the time, actually, it's most of the time they're weighted.
oh wait, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's why that was something I wanted to speak to you about if you'd be interested in sponsoring an event like that because the vest would be perfect for that situation.
Yeah, I'm definitely open. We actually sponsored, you know, Lee Wade Turner.
Yes, yeah, he used to be a barbarian.
Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, he had a competition back in December last year. So like yeah, one of the vests. He used the vest in one of his in that competition for the weighted push-ups and like the goblet squats with the weight vest.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That vest. I seen it. I can't remember. I think I seen it last year, but I was so busy and occupied. I totally forgot to reach out to you guys. But immediately I thought about so many routines that I had for that, and I do a lot of push-ups. So most of the vests, I don't use vests by the way, but the reason why because I usually get a pain in my shoulder from using a vest, so I prefer to use the belt.
yeah,
But as far as doing push-ups, also need a resistance. So I was never able to use a vest because of the weight is usually in the front of the vest.
yeah,
So that's what made your vest unique, that you're able to put the weight because we usually balance a plate on someone's back for
yeah,
them to do push-ups. So your vest is perfect for that.
yeah. Just can just put on the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you do
So
push-ups with the push-up bars. Like I personally just like just having weights on both sides and then using push-up bars. But I think yours you use like the straight bar that's low on the ground, right?
yeah, yeah, the straight ball most of the
That,
time.
yeah, for that one, I guess you should just put it on the back.
Yeah, yeah. Because we usually count the rep every time your chest touch the bar. That's when the rep actually counts.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where the weight vest really shines light is for horizontal pulling movements like rows and for the push-ups.
Hmm.
And I guess it depends on what for calisthenics, and I think for for other fields like people like walking with it for long distances for like the military, and
Yeah,
people also
that's
do
cool.
well, it's a little different. Like when you do pull-ups with the weight vest as opposed to doing it with the belt, just because the weight is distributed differently on your body, so it does feel very different. I'm not sure if you.
Exactly. Yes, yeah,
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
comparing like a front squat with a back squat, right? It makes the muscles that are used different because the weight's distributed differently on your body.
Exactly. And that's another thing I like about your vest also is that I do my squats holding the plate in front of me. So now my hands could be free,
Yeah,
especially when I get fatigued with doing squats.
yeah, or you can even add like have the weights on you, and then you also have extra weight on your hands, so you can just do.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So maybe you could tell us like a background of like how like what were you doing before calisthenics and how you got involved in calisthenics.
Well, it really wasn't no before calisthenics because I've been doing calisthenics since I was a kid. I used to actually get like punished and disciplined with calisthenics. I was an active kid, so sometimes my brother would tell me to do push-ups just to get me out of his way. So I've been off and on through my whole life doing calisthenics and just chilling and playing basketball and doing stuff like that. So I would say from 1994, I would do more weights and calisthenics, but the break would be calisthenics. It was always calisthenics throughout my life. And I would say from 1998 is when I left the weights alone from, injuries here and there and got tired of it and bored of doing the weights. And the competing aspect of calisthenics, really attracted me. I used to play a lot of basketball and I was very competitive at that. And lifting the weights, we didn't get that competitive aspect with lifting weights. You just go to the gym, sit down there, lift up a couple of weights and use a couple machines and go home. With calisthenics now, it always would always be someone there to compete with or someone who wants to try you. So at 98, we left the weights alone and it was strictly calisthenics from then till now.
Wow. Okay. So last 22 years basically it's been like all calisthenics. Before that, before
Yeah, all
doing calisthenics,
yeah,
a little bit. Damn. So yeah, you
all
you were an OG for sure. Like that's I think everyone knows you for being around for a very long time in the industry. And so
yeah, yeah.
I think back in '98, I'm sure it wasn't big at all. Like
Oh no, back in '98 it was just the normal people, the older guys who just straight reps up and down and that was it. It was nothing that it is today, no extreme routines and stuff like that. At least I haven't seen it. I did hear, some people who was incarcerated, they would have competitions and do certain things, but walking around to the park, no, you won't see that at all.
yeah. You were all strictly like sets and reps in the beginning, or did you also dabble with the what's it called, the freestyle?
Um, what I did before freestyle didn't even exist. That's how I got known is from doing the elements and doing different moves. I didn't get known from just doing the pull-ups. That's why sometimes people try to classify me as a reps and sets king. That's not how I started. If you go back to my YouTube videos, which are the first calisthenic YouTube videos on YouTube, I have the oldest videos on YouTube. Those are not reps and sets. Those is levers, planches, everything but besides handstands. That's the only thing that I didn't do.
Yeah, I think I saw your first videos were like 2006 or five or something. Right? Very
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, and that's when I uploaded it because YouTube didn't exist before then. But that video that I did in Miami, that was from 2004.
wow. Did you have some sort of motivation to upload it, or you just like, oh, this is a cool platform. Let's see if people like it or something.
It was a reason why I recorded it. I knew one day I would have the platform, not so much YouTube, but I knew either like a MySpace or something like that. I'll be able to upload the video and get critiqued. So when YouTube came around, I was like, oh, this is perfect. People, I wanted people to critique me. I wanted people to challenge me, um, from around the world. Whoever would step up to challenge, or not even so much as far as a challenge, ask me, or correct me or something. So I always knew it would blow up and spread worldwide.
When you started this, you were in Brooklyn as well. Like, have you been in Brooklyn your whole life?
Yes, my whole life.
Gotcha.
Even when I travel, I was mainly in Brooklyn. I stayed in Miami for a little while, and then it was back to Brooklyn. So it was always Brooklyn.
I've been to Miami for because they also have a bit of a scene there. There's like those pull-up bars on the beach. No,
Yeah, that wasn't there. Yeah, that wasn't there when I was there. They had a shaky bar that would shake every time I do a muscle up. Now they did it over 3 times.
uh,
Now this is the third setup. Some guys from France set it up.
North America in general is just really lacking like any outdoor parks. If you go to Europe, like there's plenty of like these outdoor pull-up bars, dip bars, and everything. Especially if you go
Yeah,
east, Poland.
yeah, but it's changing because I'm sorry to cut you. I'm seeing a lot more parks in different cities now. And I'm seeing a lot more people being active. So they are spending the money to put these parks in. Even my close friend, a Barbarian too, from San Francisco Ice, he had a bar set up, a park put up in his community.
Gotcha.
So a nice one too. He had full control over the design and everything.
Yeah, it's good because it's so nice to have them around. It's just a good way to
Yes, yeah.
make friends. I don't know. At the gym, it's a lot harder to talk to people, in my opinion. I feel like,
Yeah, it's a totally different crowd. Yeah, it's a totally different crowd in the gym. People are not willing to learn. People just go to the gym for business, and they most of the time they're on their phone, and
yeah,
they just sit down on the machine, pay their membership, and get out there. They're not looking. So most people, the
yeah,
park is a totally different vibe. People trying to learn. People, have no problem of looking at someone and asking them for help, and people offer help also in the park.
yeah, it's more of a community for sure.
Yes, yeah.
What is the like? How did you start this barbarians movement? Like, what was the motivation, and when did you start it? And what was it back in the day?
Um, the name Barbarian that started the same time of YouTube. We, I always had a group of friends, and from watching my own videos, I'm not gonna lie, they had a crew called the Bartenders at the time,
Okay,
and they made it cool to be like a team, basically, like to come up with a team. Because we always been a team, but this is calisthenics. You never think of having a name for your workout team.
yeah.
So when I
The bartenders were all
post
in Brooklyn.
no, the bartenders are from Manhattan.
Okay,
They're from, you could say they're from all around, but they started from Manhattan, from Lower East Side
okay,
and Harlem. So from when I uploaded the video and I'm watching the video and I'm thinking about us, I just wanted to just do bar work. I just wanted to do pull-ups. Everything out that had the bar, that's what I wanted to be about. So I thought about it as a being a barbarian. If there was a planet called Bar, that's where I want to be from. That's where I envision myself being. So not so much a barbarian as being barbaric, like a Conan or something, but being a barbarian from a planet called Bar. That's how I looked at it.
okay, that's cool. And so when you named this, you already had a team of like, was it already a group of like 10 people or?
No, no, it was probably, I would say, like five of my close friends,
Okay,
and two of them dropped off, and two of them still remain to this day, Jude and Andy. Um, yeah, and then we just grew from there. From the first video, people would inbox me, um, and it just grew from every video that we post, we will get more comments, more likes, more followers, more people asking questions, more people wanting to meet and work out.
And what kind of training do you, is it like a you train every day, or is it more like 4 or 5 times a week, 3 times a week?
Well, currently now I train probably 3 times a week. Um, that's a good week. When I started, I would train 3 times a day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so yeah, now I don't have as much time, and you know, uh, I gotta conserve my strength sometimes to avoid the injury because I can't do it exactly how I used to do it before
Yeah, yeah,
at that rate.
you can get into.
Yeah,
And I think if you're just trying to maintain, I'm not sure what your goals are, but for maintenance, I mean, I heard you can just do half the volume and you can easily maintain, whatever you have, at least for muscle
yeah,
mass.
exactly. That's mainly what I do now, maintain. But since I work out with guys half my age,
Yeah.
um, so my workouts they still intense. When I do workout, so it's not. I My maintenance would be me on a normal day, a non-workout day. I will stop at the park, do a routine before I go home. That's my maintenance. My workout days are just like from 2004 to 2010. They're even more intense now.
Could you go over like what a workout would be?
Okay, I would tell you the last. It's easy to tell you the last workout that we did. It was called a D-reel routine that I I end up remixing. That's what usually happens. If I come up with the routine, it stays as is. Sometime I may increase it. If someone comes up with a routine, I do their routine. And if it's not as challenging, I add stuff to it. So his routine started with 10 pull-ups on a straight bar, 10-second hold at the top, and it's a ladder bar, meaning it's neutral pull-ups, seven bars. I'm sorry, 8 bars. So 10-second chin above, then you walk to the next bar, walk meaning grab, 2 pull-ups, 2-second hold. Walk to the next bar, two pull-ups, 2-second holds, all the way to the end. Then it's 20-second hold, chin above. Then on the other side, 4 pull-ups, 4-second holds, all the way 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You go around the bar. Every time you break, Every time you break, you would drop down and do the amount of holds, the seconds, in push-ups. So say you break at a 30-second hold, you would drop on the floor and do 30 push-ups each break that you didn't complete the pull-ups.
Yeah.
So
And
you do
when you
so
walking,
you do that.
you actually land on the ground, or you're actually on the bar the whole time?
Yeah, you're trying to set it up. You're on the bar and it's set up as a ladder, so you gotta walk with your hands, grab the next bar and walk down the bar. Like from the bar setup is 4 bars in the ladder. I'm confusing myself. 8 bars in a ladder, and you do 2 pull-ups on each and walk your way
The
with
last,
your arms.
it's hard to imagine what the bullet bars look like. But okay, yeah, it sounds super intense. I mean, just a lot of time under tension, a lot of, I mean, like 20 seconds like this is doesn't sound super hard, but I'm sure after 10 pull-ups, after doing that a bunch of times, it really.
Oh, it's extremely hard. I've been doing that routine in particular for 3 weeks now. We do that routine, and we probably meet up and do it tomorrow. And we keep making it harder because originally it was just the holds and pull-ups, and that was it. So then I added the push-ups, then I added the holds on top of the reps. So 2 pull-ups, 2-second hold, all the way till you get to 10 pull-ups, 10-second hold on each. So one side will be 70 pull-ups and 70-second holds, and the next side will be the same. And you got to match it and go back down. So
So the whole set is 140 pull-up total.
no, I actually I actually never did the math
Okay.
because when I do the math, it's like an added weight. If I tell myself, "Oh, I got to do 1,000 pull-ups today," that's a weight. Now, if I tell myself I have to do this routine, that routine, this, it's much easier. If my goal is to get from beginning to the end, that's a lot easier than me telling myself I got to do 1,000 pull-ups.
Okay.
So we usually add it up, or someone usually adds it up at the end. I usually don't care as long as I get the routine done. The goal is to go from 2 to 10 and back down to 2.
Gotcha. So you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to overthink it too much before you go
Yeah.
stuff out. Okay. Yeah. I should try incorporating some of these isometrics like you do, because I don't really do much of that stuff, and especially on the top. I mean, that's like for everyone, that's the weakest portion of the pull up. So
And that to me is the easiest part. I find it more difficult to hold with the bar at the top of my head, to hold in that position.
this position. Okay. So this is
Yeah. Yeah, that's easier to me
okay. Right.
because I grown accustomed to
You
that.
have to make sure you're not cheating with your neck, right? Like if you put your chin under the bar, I'm sure it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, it people, you may think that, but that doesn't help.
Oh, it doesn't
I
help.
seen people I see people try that. It doesn't help
Okay.
because they end up hurting their chin and they basically hanging themselves. So
Okay.
that really doesn't help. It helps them for probably like a good 2 seconds, and that's it.
I see. Yeah. So back in the day, you would do like a workout like at that intensity 3 times a day, or you would lower the volume and intensity throughout the
Oh
week.
no, it actually would go up. We would start with like what they would call freestyle. We would start with our tricks and elements in the beginning to warm up. Then we'll go into routines, and then we'll go back to the elements, the tricks again.
Damn.
That's how we would do it. And I usually would work out in shifts. So I would work out from like 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. and work out in shifts. And I would eat at probably 2 a.m. as soon as I'm done. A lot of people, and why I say shifts, people would leave and new people would join. So that's why my workout would reset. So like the evening shift would end, and then the night shift, people would complain like, I gotta go home, I gotta go to work, I gotta go to school, I gotta see my kid, I gotta go whatever, and I'll still be there. And then another shift will come in fresh, and I will have to work out with them, and we'll start back. So that's how I used to work out before. Obviously I can't stay out from 12 to 1 a.m. anymore.
Yeah, that was outside, or that was like you had that was
Yeah,
indoor.
yeah, that was outside. That
So
was outside.
primarily outside, even now, or you go to gyms often?
I prefer outside. Any chance I get, if I could train a client outside, I would. But wintertime I can't do the cold anymore. Before I could have trained. It didn't matter how cold it was. I could train outside. Now I really can't do the cold at all. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, my preference is outside.
I
Uh,
mean, almost like -20, right? Sometimes minus 10 for sure in the winters.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I'm real big on my breathing. So to breathe in the gym is like torture to me, and especially now that you have to wear a mask in the gym, it's even worse now. So you have to go to private gyms now, and you don't have to really stress the mask,
yeah.
or open gyms.
You also have like a pull-up bar at home. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I work with pull up and dip,
okay.
and they have a nice setup that I'm able to set up everywhere and set up in my home.
All right, cool. I'm gonna. I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. So I wrote like a few questions and stuff. Well, let's see. Yeah, I was gonna ask if you also do some sort of cardio.
My my cardio,
Yeah, you
my
do.
cardio. it consists of on the minutes. Some people call EMOM training, but I
Okay.
call it on the minutes because that's that's something I thought I started. Obviously, it had to be done before me, but that's my name for it, on the minute. Anyway, my push-ups on the minute, 25 on the minute for 40 minutes to 60 minutes. That's what I consider cardio. You usually 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 October I run, I do jogging.
Okay.
Um Summertime, this summer went by, I didn't do any biking at all. But as far as cardio, I do on the minute and 5 minute drills. Those are my cardio.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I forgot to even consider. I mean, with the volume and the reps that you do, I mean, that's in itself is cardio, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, like 40 pull-ups, maybe. I'm sure you're out of like you could be out of breath after 40 pull-ups, like just like yeah.
yeah,
'Cause, yeah,
yeah.
most people just stay in like the 8 to 12 rep range, and even then, like if you're doing 12 reps of squats, like even I kind of feel like a little bit like okay, felt like cardio to me. But if
Oh
you're doing
yeah, when you incorporate like that was a on the minute I was doing this summer. I was doing 20 squats on the minute for an hour, and that was great. That was good.
yeah, that's I mean that's
That's my cardio.
probably pretty high. Let's see. Oh, another I was curious. Like when you train, like your crazy workouts, do you get sore the next day, or are you just so used to it that you just don't get sore?
Um, it depends. If I do a routine that I haven't done in a long time,
Yeah.
I would get sore, but not to the point that I can't work out. It's like that good feeling of soreness. Like for instance, when I took the vest out for the first day, I have a routine that I do on the push-up bar where I'll do a full plank hold for 5 minutes straight and then do 50 pushes. So I did it with the vest with a 45-pound plate on my back, and that that killed me. I was only able to do one push-up after holding the 5 minutes with that, and I never had that much sweat.
Yeah.
So the next day and the day after, my ribs were sore from doing that
Oh, it
with
got
the
you
vest.
tragus muscles from the plank.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I never got that sore before.
But a
So
plank
every
in this position, right? Like a straight arm plank.
full plank, yeah. Straight on plank on the push-up bar with the vest.
At the top. You held that for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the plate.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
give that one a try and tell me how that feel.
Yeah, I'm tempted now, and yeah, I got a Smith bar machine downstairs, so you can just lower and it's almost like the same as.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't forget the vest itself weighs about 5 pounds, so it's actually 50 pounds that you had total.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
You're a bit better by yourself. It wasn't just a
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna let everyone know.
yeah. Let's see. Got any other questions here? Yeah, yeah. You have any sort of warm up routine? I mean, you said you do your elements usually in the beginning of your workout, which is pretty standard. But you gotta usually warm up before the elements, right?
No. My warm-up routine consists of doing the routine at a slow pace. So, say my routine for the day is the on the minute, the 25 on the minute for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Though that first 5 sets of 25, I would do it slow,
Oh, I see.
full
And
range as possible, slow. And then each set I would speed up, and then I'm good to go. It takes me on a push-up routine, it takes me like 250 push-ups to warm up. A pull-up routine takes me 100 pull-ups to warm up.
that's
So I
wow.
I,
You
I don't really
50 pull-ups in a workout. They're like, all right, that's enough, right? Like
yeah,
3 sets of 12. That's
yeah.
30. I guess that's good enough.
Yeah, so I don't do any like resistance warm-ups or stretches like that. I most of the time I stretch after the workout. Um Uh, Traditional warm up, no, I don't do that.
Gotcha. Interesting. And so you're talking about Lee before, like so he was part of your group before.
Yeah, he's a barbarian.
Is that where there was like this group where you guys would have these competitions online? Because he's in London, right? Like he wasn't in Brooklyn.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he's from the UK. We have barbarians from all over. And barbarians is a brotherhood.
Yeah.
So it's not a team or it's not like an organization as far as like, people get hired and fired. Um, and I like to believe that once you're a barbarian, you're always a barbarian because it's in you and that's how you become known. And that's the training method that you carry on, whether you improvise on it or add to it or whatever, it's still the blueprint of barbarians.
Yeah,
So,
I see everyone with like the emoji with the two red bees, and they're just
yes, yeah,
easy, ridiculous things like, oh, I just did 2,000 push-ups and like, yeah, it's crazy,
yeah.
really insane. Yeah. So back then, I mean, it was before Instagram, right? Like when you guys uh, were competing, because I remember, I think Lee was saying that he used to, there was this competition, and there was this guy in is it Jared Rubenstein in Australia?
Yes. He's a barbarian too.
Yeah. I think he had a world record as well, right, for the muscle ups.
Yeah, yeah. He did the muscle ups 27 or 26, I believe. He held that record for a long time too.
Yeah, so I guess so. How did you guys like? Where was this community? It must have been online. Was it on like on Facebook or some different platform? You had a forum.
We had everything. We had a forum, we had Facebook, of course through YouTube. Um, yeah, that's how we correspond with each other. Then we'll call each other, and I traveled over there to meet them, and we'll travel to Ukraine, and they'll compete while I judge the events, stuff like that.
Nice. Would you judge the like? Would they send their footage? Like, how would you have these competitions as your community? Or you didn't really have like international competitions.
No, I wouldn't hold the competitions. As far as judging or anything with them sending me videos, that came with doing the requirements. I didn't go over that. When we started to become more known and we decided like barbarians, we're going to be going forward as barbarians, we needed to have requirements that not everyone could join, like the other groups that were starting. Like, some people would just, you want to work out here, wear my shirt, you were so and so. We
Yeah,
had requirements. We wanted to be strict. We wanted people to have a certain form, certain abilities. So we came out with a regimen, a routine, basically that everyone would have to do in order to be a barbarian, to wear a gold wing shirt. So once that was put out there, and I did a video displaying it, people would send me their videos wanting to be a part of it, and I would make the call, like, yes, that was good, or you need to correct this and that, and they'll join. Um, so that's how we will find members. That's how we used to get members. It's still the same, but now it's more based on your character more than your strength. So back to the competitions, I would get invited a lot to different countries. They would put on the competitions, and I would go there to judge it.
gotcha.
So we wouldn't throw any competitions. We never did that too much. We did a couple of challenges online, just to stay active, but nothing official as far as a competition.
So what were the requirements that you had for to join the Barbarians back in the day?
Oh, back in the day, it was 10 minutes, uh, 10 minutes, 40 dips, I believe, 20 pull-ups, 50 push-ups, and five muscle-ups. Five or six, no, five muscle-ups. Yeah, that you used to have to complete that in 10 minutes.
Was there an order or just like any
Yeah,
order?
that it was any order, but that was the best order to do.
Oh, really? Okay.
That was the best order. Yeah, to push, pull, push. What's that?
I would assume that you would start with the muscle ups because they're the hardest. Because
No, no, I'm sorry. The muscle ups always had to be at the end. You always had to complete it with the muscle ups. That was the tricky part,
okay, yeah, okay.
and the muscle ups had to be clean.
Yeah. Okay, well, so let's see. Another thing that you're famous for is this is the God set, right? It's, could you tell us a bit about
Yeah.
that? 'Cause, yeah, I remember thinking it just meant like God, like above, but it's stands for something.
Oh no, it stands for greatness on demand. Um, that came about. I was going through a lot during that time. It was a lot of competition, a lot of a lot of tension amongst the community and ball groups. So that used to motivate me to keep pushing it to another level. I had people who would challenge indirectly. So 50 pull-ups at the time, no one was doing 50 pull-ups.
Yeah.
So
Now,
I wanted,
a handful
yeah,
of people that could do 50 pull-ups. I mean, I definitely can.
yeah. So now, well, at that time, 50 pull-ups, I did it already. So since and no one was doing 50 pull-ups, I wanted to take it up another notch and do the 50 dips on top of the 50 pull-ups of not getting off the bar. So once I did that, that will put me ahead, years ahead for people to catch up. So if someone wanted to catch up to that, again, that will push me to do something else. So, it took me a while. I actually trained for that. That was the only routine I really trained for, like week after week, and try to get it. Then I got it, like it was November. I got it, recorded it, and I didn't release it till I think New Year's Eve that year, 2014. And it was such an accomplishment that day. That day, I knew I had it. I had the feeling that I was going to get it that day. The first time it was done, it was on that video, that footage that was shown.
Was it
I
just
never did it prior. What's that?
filmed on some iPhone, I guess? Like your buddy just had the iPhone, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, definitely.
That's what it is. Like I think everyone
Yeah,
calisthenics like has heard of the God set. So it's like it's 100,
yeah, that,
basically 100 reps on the bar, right? Like without letting go.
yeah, yeah. So that's what a God set means, is 100 reps on the ball without letting go. But that's the original God set. Some people think it has to be the 50 pull-ups and the 50 dips to be a God set. But a God set really is doing 100 reps on the bar without dropping.
Like for me, the most impressive part is being able to do them. Like, I mean, you do a muscle up in the middle, right, to be able to get over the bar after doing
Yes, yeah,
pull-ups already. Like that's insane. Like because
yeah,
I don't know. I've never attempted it, but I would assume like once you do the 50 pull-ups, like the 50 dips is not as like challenging. I mean, it's also very hard, especially when your arms are tired. But being able to just have the pulling power to do that muscle up after the 50 pull-ups is probably like the thing that most people will never be able to do, to be able to even
Y-
have a shot to do the dips.
yeah. Because you actually have to do more than 50 pull-ups. You have to have the strength to do more than 50 pull-ups. So
Oh, for
if you
sure.
train to get that God said that particular one, you have to be getting, I say, 55 pull-ups. You have to be able to do 55 pull-ups to get that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think in the video, like you tried to do the muscle up the first time and you didn't quite get it, right? And then you came back down, and then
Yeah, yeah,
the second time you got it, which is like crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's very
yeah.
motivating.
I wasn't gonna let go that day. That day, I had to do it. I told myself I'm doing it today, and that day was really cold too. My hands were stuck to the bar, so I couldn't let go even if I wanted to.
Did you use chalk?
No, no chalk.
Damn, even now, like you're not much of a chalk guy.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a chalk guy. The only time I would use chalk, and very, very a little bit, is if the bar is oily or slippery for some reason. But it's very rare I use chalk. It tears my hands. That's why.
Oh, really? I found it'd be like the other way around. But yeah, I think the bars outdoors, especially if they're older, like the rusty ones, are usually a lot better and easier to grip than like the brand new ones.
The rusty ones, oh, those tear my hands up. I get blistered.
Muscle ups, like yeah, I got in a lot
Yeah,
of calluses from that. But you
yeah.
don't wear gloves, do you?
No, no, I stopped wearing gloves. The only time I wear gloves if I work out in the winter time and on a cold bar. That's the only time I will wear gloves.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you might even get frostbite. Minus
Yeah.
so cold in New York. Like it's I remember I used to live in Boston as well, so there's
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean not once in a while it becomes like -20, but I guess on that day you could just say okay I'm not gonna go out today. Like it's actually a hazard.
Yeah. I lived in Massachusetts for Canton for a year also in 2010. It was cold out there. It was a lot of snow.
Yeah, I mean everywhere on the East Coast gets very ridiculously cold. And the summer it's really hot. It's like very there's big ups and big downs.
Uh, I remember I used to drive from Massachusetts all the way to New York every weekend just to work out and drive
Just
back
true.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's a lot.
just to work out, yeah. So that's why it's a lot of things people don't see. You have to be consistent with it. You got to want it in order to achieve certain things. And that's why I'm able to do it so long. I'm 43 years old and still able to keep up with kids half my age, and able to push them and still motivate them. That's kind of rare that you see something like that.
I mean, I don't think you even just keep up. I mean, you're way ahead of most people that are having. How many pull-ups do you think you could do now? Like what's your max? Still like
You said how many? You said how many pull-ups?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, 50. 50. We have something called on demand. Um, that's like a standard for Barbarian. You have to be able to do 40 pull-ups on demand. Like right now, I'm talking to you. I should be able to put down this phone. If there was a bar here, I could do 40 pull-ups. So
You do
I still
it?
nah,
You bet
I don't.
you.
I would have done it too. That's something too. If you get called out on it, that's a tradition that we do. Usually if we go out to eat, someone had a couple of glasses of wine or something. No matter where we are, if somebody pulls out the phone and says 40 on demand, no matter where you at, a scaffolding or a park, whatever, where you could do a pull up, you have to do it.
Yes.
So that's the standard. Um, my one of my goals, I want to be able to do 50 pull-ups while I'm 50 years old. So that's why I want to stay consistent till then.
I mean, it wasn't a while
So
ago.
yeah,
I remember like the world record for the most done in 1 minute was like 43. Now it's like 68. There's a guy right in Massachusetts like that did like 68 in a minute. But
oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, he did them super wide.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think he's got really short arms. He's like really made for just those reps. I think you've got pretty long arms.
Yeah, they all right. I
Yeah,
think they average.
so it's even more impressive that you could do them. But yeah, have you ever thought about? Did you ever attempt to be on the Guinness World Records or never?
Yeah, I wanted to do the heaviest pull-up. I think it raised. I think it's 260 pounds now. Um, I trained for it 2 years ago and got injured doing it. I'm gonna start training for it again now. The heaviest pull up. I know definitely. I will be doing the heaviest pull up at my body weight also. That
What's your
would be 150.
okay? That's
Yeah, I stay from 147 to 157. I stay in that range.
okay. I think it was in kilos. That's what 68. I think it's around 68 kilos.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the record I would like to go for. heaviest pull-up. But also, I would like to set a record. I'm getting asked a lot, like, to set a record, and I think it's harder to set a record than breaking a record, actually. So I'm definitely going to do that before I'm old and gray. I'm definitely going to get in that book a couple times. And as far as Barbarians, also, we're gonna dominate that book eventually.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you're trying to go for the one rep max record, because it seems like Barbarians. A lot of it is about like just ridiculous volume, like 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 pull-ups. Like I thought you would try to go for like the most push-ups in 24 hours or something. Like those are the ones.
Oh, no, no. The most push-ups in 24 hours, that's actually a good one. I never even thought of that or even looked that up. I didn't even see who holds that. I know someone actually going out now for the most pull-ups in 24 hours, and that's something I would never do. I would never do that.
I think the really famous guy that had that record and then recently got broken. What's the guy? He used to be really fat and he was like the. Now he's always.
Oh, no, no, he's right. He got that got broke, I think, the same year.
Oh,
David Goggins, that's his name,
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
5,800 in 24 hours.
yeah, he that got broke the same year by the person who held it before him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy is relentless. He's not letting nobody break his record. It's 7,000 and change right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's torture to your hands.
Yeah, I heard it's
That's
mostly
something.
your hands, like not even your arms, like your hands that like are completely wrecked.
Yeah, that's what I was warning my friend to tell him. Like, every article I read, every video I seen, that's the number one complaint was his hands. His hands gave out first. That's the torture. So, that's a record I wouldn't go out for. Maybe the push-ups. I could possibly see doing that because I love push-ups. That's the first calisthenic exercise I ever learned was push-ups. And I feel like that's the most important one to learn is push-ups
Yeah, it could be
because
worse.
you always have a floor.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, you always have a floor to stand on, so it's never excuse not to do any push-ups. You may not have a pull-up bar, a dip bar, or even weights, but you have a floor to stand on,
yeah. I was
so
actually
you're in
I had an
space.
interview with. I'm not sure if you know Mike Smart. He's like the guy on Instagram who's always doing like handstand push-ups and with his like Dragon Ball Z outfit with the blonde hair.
Oh, no.
Okay, well,
No, I probably have to see him.
interviewing Zeph next. Like he's a legend. Like he's very excited when I brought up your name. But we were talking
Oh, that's cool.
the beauty of calisthenics, especially with handstand push-ups and push-ups. You can just, as long as you have your floor, you have a workout. Like you have no excuses. But it's also an issue because sometimes you can overtrain and it causes injuries. So I guess my next question: have you had any injuries? Over your almost 30 years of calisthenics, and how did you
Oh,
overcome?
yeah, I had plenty injuries, but not to the point where I needed surgery. And even if I possibly did need surgery, I learned to work through it, and I was able to recover.
Okay.
I get the normal, strains here and there. Knock on wood, not to jinx me. I haven't torn anything. But I try to listen to my body. I've been doing this so long. I know my limit. I know when to stop and wait, go for another day. I know how to adjust my body also. Like
Yeah.
you get those signs where you're supposed to stop or adjust your position, adjust your ROM. And that's why I do my pull-ups and push-ups the way I do sometimes. Throughout the years from when I started, my flexibility was a lot better, but I had less muscle. Um, if I continue to doing my reps the way I did when I was younger, I would have probably been out of the game by now. My joints would have been shot. So I learned how to adjust and work with my body type and work with what I developed and my training methods. So
Gotcha.
I'm an example. That I was just telling somebody the other day. I speak for Barbarian Training. I'm 43 years old, and I'm right here with you. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that you haven't had that many injuries or nothing that's like permanent, with the amount of volume you do as well, it's like you must be doing something right. And I think you're pretty. You seem like you're very into having good form, and maybe that's one of the things that prevented you from getting injured.
Yes, yes. Even though some people critique me on my form now and saying it's bad, and I um I understand what they may see and what they want to think is good form, but to me, good form is control.
Yeah.
That's good form. It's not range of motion. Range of motion doesn't determine that's good form or not. It's your control that determines good form to me.
Let's see if, other questions here. Yeah, I want to ask you about your diet. Like, do you have this kind of do you avoid certain foods? Are you vegan? Do you count macros? What kind of eating schedule? Like all this kind of stuff.
No, I'm not vegan. I don't eat red meat. Well, I try to avoid red meat. I don't eat like beef.
Okay.
I would eat I would eat lamb. I would eat goat occasionally, like a lot of fish. I do eat chicken, but the quality of food, I try to look for the best quality of the food. I don't just eat random food. I don't eat fast food. Um, Twice a week, I would call it intermittent fasting. I would eat probably once a day, or I would just eat a salad that day. Sometimes I would just have a Seymour smoothie, and that would be it for the day. Or some days I may eat 3 times a day and have a Griffin Ball shake. So I don't I'm not very strict
Okay.
as far as counting calories and going that far, but I am picky when it comes to the quality of food that I eat.
I mean, also if you're doing the 1,000 push-ups, 2,000 push-ups, whatever, I think it also makes you a lot more flexible with what you can eat and get away with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The days like say if I know that I'm gonna work out the day before, I would eat light that night. In the morning, I would have a salad, and my salads consist of kale, lentil peas, quinoa. It it's more than just a salad, and that's what I would have for the whole day. And I would just have my tea. I'm really big on tea. I drink a lot of tea and raw honey. I,
Gotcha.
I avoid I avoid salt. I avoid sugar. I don't have sugar at all. As much as I love chocolate and ice cream, I actually haven't eaten that in, I would say, yeah, like a year or two.
So you're
But
not
I avoid it.
a coffee person, you're more of a tea person.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely a tea person. I don't drink alcohol. On occasion, I will have a glass of wine. Maybe we go out to have dinner, and which is rare. But yeah, I avoid alcohol, sugar, and salt. Those are the things that I avoid,
And
and I
you're
don't smoke.
at night.
What's that?
Are you like a? Do you feel like you train better at night, or you?
Yes, yes. I do train better with, like I tell people all the time, I get my power from the moon. I could go longer at night than the daytime. You usually those sessions that I would tell you that we start at like 12, 1 o'clock in the day, those would be, oh, screen went out. Those would be the warm-ups. So from the sun up is the warm-up. From when the sun goes down, that's when the workout would start.
Okay.
So I charge up with the sun basically, and then at night, that's when I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean,
That's when I turned on.
I train right after I wake up. Like my joints feel tight. I mean, you were not moving for the last 8 hours. Whereas like if you train at like 6
Yeah.
p.m. or something, the whole day you're at least walking around, which is like a little bit of a warm up, right? You're active.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Exactly.
I'm like totally new person at night. Like in the morning, I'm like I can lift probably like 70% of like what I can do at night. So yeah.
Now I'm the same way, plenty most of the time I have train my clients. I'm usually there just for coaching because I I hate training in the morning. For me to train in the morning, it has to turn to my new schedule, and I have to wake up extra early. I will have to wake up like 5 in the morning to
Yeah.
train at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Do my usual.
Let's see what other questions. I guess we went over the leg training. I mean, you do like the high volume squats, right? That's kind of your primarily consist of your.
Yeah, I don't do too much weighted squats, but that's been a goal of mine for the past 2 years. So I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more of that. Just to show that I could do it. You
Uh,
know.
do you have any other goals? Like I remember you talked about maybe doing the Guinness World Record, but do you have any other just some sort of goal that you have?
Mm, no, it's just a few things. Just the weighted squats. I want to be able to do 3 plates. I'm definitely a handstand, free handstand push-ups been on my list for years now.
Yeah.
Um,
I think for that,
and
you, uh, so the guy I talked to before is quite good at it as well. And I just recently got the handstand, and it took me like 5 years. And what really helped me was just first we talked about using the wall. It's important to use the wall, and I think at like outdoor parks, it's very. I mean, there's no walls, so that's one thing.
mhm,
And to just do it like very often, like 10 times a day, like whenever you have time, and you should just try to do an attempt.
yeah, I was on track. I can't remember the year that I was on track. My good friend from Chicago, John Hines, he told me he's like a specialist at it too, and I was making progress. And I think either I got either sick from a flu or something, and it just knocked me back down to zero, and I haven't done it. But you're right. I did it every day, every break, every second, every time I was home. Every
Yeah.
time I got bored, I would try.
Yeah, and then after about a few weeks, you'll like, I got it. That's what I did. But for the 5 years before that, I would just attempt it, like once a week, once every 2 weeks for like 5 minutes, and it got me nowhere. So like, it's really because of the quarantine and the pandemic, I decided that this is going to be one of the things that I do during the pandemic.
Wow. Yeah, that was smart.
Once you do get the balance, like I'm sure you'll be able to do like advanced moves very easily, like 90-degree push-ups, handstand push-ups, because I mean you already have such a good base from all the dips that you've been doing and your push-ups. Like yeah, like I'm sure
Yeah,
just a balance is this all you need.
yeah.
And push-up
I,
like
I'm.
the week
I,
after.
it's like I have to overcome that fear. It's really the fear that bothers me. If I keep thinking I'm gonna fall and break my neck, for some reason I feel like I'm gonna fall on my head. So I gotta overcome that.
For sure. It's just knowing how to fall. Like it's I mean, there's another amazing thing is like maybe you started this trend, people started posting things on YouTube, and now there's so many YouTube tutorials, right? People, not just motivational videos, but actual like instructional videos of how to do the handstand, how to do the handstand push-ups, and how to
Yeah,
exit the put hand.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But what the other guy was saying is like when you're standing, you're not scared of hurting your head, whereas like when you're in a handstand, your head's actually a lot closer to the ground, so there should be less fear of.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense too.
Let's see if there's a. Do you take any supplements?
No, I take matter of fact, it's supplements, omega 3.
Okay.
If you want to count that, D3, B12, stuff like that.
Okay, but it's just regular
No,
vitamins, like nothing like.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, because
No performance enhancers, no creatine,
okay.
no GH, none of those things.
No, I bet like supplements like I don't like. I like taking ashwagandha. It's like supposed to
Oh yeah, yeah. Those minerals, those yeah, those stuff are yeah. I don't count those things like that, like moringa and natural things like that. Yeah, I don't count that. I could run off a list of those things. That's what I put in my Griffin Moss. Um, Stuff like that is too much for me to name. Like I could go on and on.
All right. So the next question I have is, so obviously a lot of people look up to you as motivation, but do you have anyone that you actually look up for motivation?
Oh, I look up to everyone basically. My peers, like when someone posts a video of them trying a routine or actually doing it, that's who I look up to. It's not no one in particular. Everyone, especially my Barbarian brothers, they really motivate me. I really look up to
Gotcha.
like like Ice, Sergio, Javi, Snoop. I don't even want to leave no one's name out there. And like those guys, they really motivate. I look up to them.
Yeah, I think I follow like Sergio and Javi on the Instagram, and they do crazy stuff. I forgot the other guy's name, but I'm sure. I mean, if you mention them, they're probably doing really insane things.
Yeah,
Uh,
those guys, all of those guys, even the older barbarians, those guys, I look up to all of them. You could even say Lee, also, like all of them guys, they really, they motivate me. Just to see anyone on that bar, it inspires me.
yeah, definitely. Lee recently posted I think he just did 40 pull-ups on demand like maybe about a month ago. I was like, oh, that's motivating. Like, I'm not sure
Yeah,
about that video, but yeah, especially now, he just got a kid. He's probably busy and all this other stuff, and then he just does 40 reps. Something.
yeah, that takes a toll on you. Parenthood. I have three kids, and um, it's hard. It's hard to juggle. Like to do what you love, to make a living and take care of them. And you have to perform at a certain level and stick to that. It's very hard to do that.
Your kids also do. Like, have you gotten them into calisthenics as well?
Yes, my two sons, they're 3 and 7.
Okay.
So I don't really force them to do it, but sometimes just like with me, if they're punishment, they have to do push-ups. But they like doing it, and I want them to want to do it.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
way they'll be better at it. If I have to force them, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for them.
Yeah, I was talking to to Mike also about how people that start gymnastics or calisthenics at a younger age, they just have like they have it's like a crazy advantage. Like when they get older, it's just like
Oh
they're
yeah,
way more efficient or something.
yeah. Like Sergio's, for instance. Like he has such an advantage because he pays attention to and he studies, and he's so advanced right now that by the time that he reaches my age, he's on the ball without letting go.
So I think it's
They,
volume is right.
hello? Can you hear me? They get
Yeah, I can
connected to
hear you
the
now.
car.
All right. So I think last question that I have here is do you have what's your best memory from training? Your best moment?
Wow, that's a difficult one. I would have to say the God set. The God set was my best moment. That comes to mind immediately because that day the energy that was there, the guys that was surrounding me and cheering me on, like they wanted me to get it, and like I had to really do it for them. Without them, I think that day I probably would have dropped, but they really pushed me. And when I didn't get it the first time, and the disappointment I heard, that's what made me go up the second time and do it for them. And then they clapped and they cheered, and that hit my heart for me doing those dips right there. So that's my most memorable memory that I
That
could
was
what's that?
the that's online. That was your second attempt of that day, or like you had a first attempt like a month before, and then this was your second attempt.
Um that was the first time completed it. As far as a attempt, I can't really remember, but that day was official because like I said, I trained for it.
Yeah.
So I know when I'm gonna be able to do it. based on how I got the 50, how hard the 50 was for me. So if I know I would have done it another day, I would have had people there to witness and record it for me. So that was the first day I attempted that,
Gotcha.
as
Yeah,
far as I can remember.
your arms must have just felt like they were burning when you were on that bar. They're like, oh, now we have to do a muscle up. Like it's
No, actually, the dips hurt more than the pull-ups.
what?
The dip, yeah, the dips hurt. The last 5 dips, oh, those was torture. The dips hurt more than the pull-ups.
Interesting. Like just your chest
Yeah.
or even your arms?
Just my tries.
Your
My
tricep.
tries, yeah, they locked. They locked out on the last 4. And then after I got down, that's why I was able to do, I think, 3 or 2 more pull-ups because my arms was fine. But then my grip is what gave out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. What were you trying to do when you finished the dips? You just want to see how much more you could do? Like you're just out of
No,
curiosity.
cause somebody, if you listen to it, somebody said 5 more pull-ups. That's what they said. 5 more. I think it was Andy Mutant Money. That's his name. He said 5 more. So I try to do 5 more. I think I did 4. I think.
By the way, you got the gods there, which was like what you tried to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. After you do something and people see that it's possible, now you gotta outdo it. So that was the next thing that they asked. Okay, are you gonna do the God set too? You got to do 60 pull-ups and 60 dips. So that's how it was after I did the 50 pull-ups. They told me I got to do 60. So I said, it's never gonna end. I do 60, then you're gonna tell me 70 until I get 100. That's how it always is. So maybe every now and again I get motivated to do the God set too, which is the 60-60. Um, maybe next year, hopefully, I'll be motivated enough to go for it again and try it. Who knows?
Has anyone done the god set other than you? Like, has there been a lot of guys?
Oh yeah, yeah. Definitely Surge. I think Cybov. I think Hobby also. I can't remember who else, but yeah, quite a few people tried it. I think Fedor, that's another strong person that motivates me from Moscow. Um yeah, quite a few people.
And what about
Yeah,
the?
you gotta remember this was done in 2014,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah. I
know?
mean, you're the one you opened it up so that if you didn't do it, maybe a lot of these guys would never have gotten it. Because you opened their eyes to know that it's possible. It's kind of like
Yeah,
the
maybe.
the
Yeah.
4 minute mile, like it was never done, and then as soon as one guy did it, like a bunch of guys did it, right?
Yeah, that's how it usually goes. That's why I said I would rather set a record than to break one.
I see. Yeah, but just find some theory,
Probably.
then for sure. Cool. I mean, I want to just make sure I went over all these questions because I think a lot of the listeners would be interested in hearing, and I had like 16 or so. Want to make sure I went over all of them. But yeah. Oh, I guess there's one more. Is there like anything in your training protocol or just in general in life that you find like that you think is underrated? So it can be a fitness product. It can be like a fitness, like an exercise. I don't know, just some routine,
I
some.
I I think push-ups are underrated
Okay,
because I notice a lot of guys are strong. They're able to do incredible things, but they can't do push-ups. The push-ups that they should be able to do, they can't do. And push-ups can transition to all of the exercises and strengthen you to do other exercises better. So a lot of people should focus and master the push-ups first, and that's the foundation to me.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
should be able to do 50 clip of push-ups on any type of apparatus, whether it be incline, decline, flat on the ground, or on the bar, or pronated grip, whatever.
yeah. I think for calisthenics, like pull-ups and dips are the most done, and I think a lot of people neglect the push-ups because it's too easy for most people. Like you would
Yeah.
have, right? So I think that's another benefit of the of doing weighted push-ups is like actually makes it a little bit more challenging. So you can get closer to like the rep ranges where people would usually find it to be where the hypertrophy happens. But I think we all know that if with high enough volume, you can gain muscle even with like push-ups, right? Just bodyweight push-ups if you do a ridiculous amount of volume.
You could do a ridiculous amount of volume, or you could do it controlled, like the metronome push-ups, where you have to do it on the beat. So every rep is the same.
I see.
You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, because if you can
So
get like the elasticity, if you can do
yes,
that, then it's a lot more difficult.
a lot more difficult.
Gotcha. Yes, that's definitely good to always be reminded because I think everyone knows that push-ups are important, but then we kind of forget about it. It's like it's good to have someone like you who's very well known and who's been doing calisthenics for like your entire life, since, especially since like the '90s, and telling everyone that do your push-ups. So yeah, if
Yeah,
you
do
want,
your
just make
push-ups.
sure you do your push-ups.
Yeah, that's how I'm starting my kids. Do your push-ups. Do your push-ups first. That's how I started.
Perfect. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on today, and I think it was very informative for all the listeners, and I learned a lot myself. So
Oh, not a problem, man. Anytime, man. I'm always here. It's so much I try to hold back from going on a rant or just going somewhere else. But I have so much information, and thank you for having me here. Also, thank you for sending out the vest. I got so much planned for that vest. That's it's gonna be
yeah,
ridiculous.
be in touch about the competition if you want some sponsoring for that. And I think you also, I mean, we can tell the listeners that you have a Patreon group, right?
Oh yes, I have a Patreon, Zeph Zakaveli. Patreon/Zeph Zakaveli. Of course, my Instagram, where they should know the real Zakaveli, and my Griffin Moss, my C Moss, griffinmoss.com. We didn't speak on that. Maybe the next interview or conversation we have, we could speak on more of the diet and what I actually do as far as nutrition wise for my training and what I advise people. But
Correct. You said sea moss.
yes.
I've never. What is it? I've never heard of this.
Oh, you never heard of it? Griffin. My brand is Griffin Moss. Sea moss. It's a sea vegetable. It's basically seaweed. It
Okay.
has 92 of the 92 minerals that the body is consisted of. So so many benefits to that. I don't like to oversell it because I don't want it to be a placebo thing that kicks in,
Yeah.
but it works wonders as far as injury wise too, recovery. I have a lot of testimony on that.
Gotcha.
I'll send you some stuff for you to check it out. But
Okay.
again, I don't like to oversell it because then the placebo part kicks in, and then you know
Yeah.
you start feeling things that
So yeah,
you
it's
think you.
probably good to have some outreach. I mean, yeah. How about you can send me some information about like, and then we can always arrange another talk like this. If anyone
Okay,
else, I mean, they can always contact you by Instagram or Patreon as well, right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, thanks for having, thanks for coming on, and yeah, we'll stay in touch.
All right, definitely, man. Thank y'all. Shout out to everyone out there, man. Thanks for all the support, y'all.
I gotta go to the. See ya.
All right.